Welcome to City and Snow. This is a modified Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Let's Play podcast. I'm Lizzie. I use she, her pronouns. And I would like to formally apologize for how squeaky my voice got last episode. Today, the NPCs will exclusively be in a lower register.
It's okay.
Hi, my name is Anna, she, her. I play Ilivara, also she, her, who likes big butts and she cannot lie.
Not fucking wrong!
Hello, my name is Miranda. I use they, them, or he, him pronouns, and I play Six, he, him, who last time used sending stones like a walkie-talkie.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I use they, them. I play Yor, also use they, them. And they're a tiefling paladin, and last time they played fetch with an umbrella for 20 or 30 whole minutes while Hilfara recounted events.
Hi, I'm Lane. I use she, her pronouns, and I will play Hannah, the half-elf fighter who also uses she, her pronouns. And last time she got incredibly confused, which is a running theme apparently, handed over some oils, was asked to take part in a magic ritual, which she knows absolutely jack shit or fuck about, so she offered anyway, and now she's gonna go rescue cute girls from a fire. Or she thinks she is anyway.
Put cute girls
In the fire.
Add more.
Cute girls on fire.
Oh yes, the cute girl.
We like big butts and we cannot fuck.
This is why we rebranded as a romance.
I think we've always been there.
Yeah.
Okay, so recap time. Last time on City and Snow, the party was still split up. Ilivara and Yor continue to collect the members of the First Bastion Mercenary Company from around the city. They respectfully followed Marab to the Coal River Inn and socially navigated their way to the flowery parlor of JT. Upon hearing the bad news of her comrade's passing, JT brought them into her conspiracy chamber. Six and Hannah, on the way back from retrieving expensive oils from the eccentric eclectic, spot Zirabel and convince her to join them on the way back to the HQ of the FBMC. While Hannah delivers oils to Hyacinth, Zirabel gives Six a warning, and hides in the washroom, laundry building of one of those. And then the Althana Memorial Library was on fire. And that's where we begin. So, does anyone want to request to go first as we flip back and forth between scenes right now? Volunteer, nerds! I can't keep making choices. Go for it.
Ilivara's first in initiative.
God damn it. Alright.
Wow. You got volunteered.
Wow. You did, though.
Well, following Marab at a respectful distance behind, I don't have anything really to say since the mood is a bit somber and we're trying to get there pretty quickly back to headquarters, so...
Oh, well, that's a question. Where are you going? How fast do you get there? If you're traveling through the city, I'm going to request either a perception check or if you want to do a different type of skill roll, do that.
So, I know so there's obviously a giant fire.
Yes, so from a window in this conspiracy room, there is a plume of smoke outside, and you immediately, you know exactly where it is because you've been there before, and it's a pretty large building across town. As soon as that happens, Jace T starts going through her little armory section and picking out some items, and Marab starts putting on armor. So, Ilivara and Yor.
I'm just imagining as soon as your spots the fire out the window, they're holding the ball that they're playing with the umbrella with, and it just like drops, and you hear like the freeze, like oh
no. I'm just struck into silence, really. Just like, what? How? Why? But clearly the others are like getting into action, so just wait quietly.
Yeah, as soon as they're ready, we'll just like bolt to the scene. Yeah, they're just ready for that.
I guess that would be the only thing. So originally we wanted to get to the headquarters. Do we now?
Probably just straight to the library, yeah?
All right. Sounds good to me.
Probably meet there.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll notice.
Talk about a signal fire, I guess.
Oh my god.
I will accept this amount of metagaming. It's understandable.
Thank you.
Okay, so...
Do we have to be mechanical about this movement? Or are we like dashing, or how does this work?
Yeah, so since you're traveling through the city, I'm going to request either a perception check or some other type of skill check. You decide if, for example, if you want to, say, try to move stealthily through the city without being noticed, that would be something, a stealth check. If you want to keep your eyes out to look for things, that would be perception. If you want to see if you can figure out more about the situation, investigation, whatever you want to do, but I would like something. So let me know how you navigate the city, if there's a way you want to do that.
I guess I don't know the city super well. But we can... Oh, it looks like we can just follow the river.
Yeah.
Navigating there
won't be a big problem. But if you want to go there, like, for example, if you want to, say, use all of your knowledge of the city layout to get there super fast, you might use survival.
Okay.
So what would you like to do?
I actually think survival would work well for me.
Okay. So how are you navigating the city? How are you going from this point A to point B?
Running.
What's the goal?
Getting to the library.
Okay.
As efficiently as possible.
Ooh.
Yeah.
18 on survival. Okay, let's hear from Izzy on that same question. Six and Hannah are probably going to get the same question, so start preparing.
How long do we think this sprint might be?
You should ride Sweetening.
I know, that's why that's exactly why I asked that. That's a 10 minutes casting time.
Oh.
Would that be like a focus thing? Like a wisdom or a charisma from spell modifier? I don't know.
To try to say, do it faster, or to just do it?
Yeah, to just be casting it while we're, like...
Distraction
running.
Cast.
Yeah, you might not have concentration.
Yeah. Let's set the scene where you're going to try to cast the spell, but you're also, like, walking through the building, going into the elevator, etc.
Yeah.
So you're a bit distracted. I would like a skill check where you use your spell casting ability. So I guess that would be a charisma check.
Okay.
So that by the time you get down to the ground level, Sweetening is going to be there.
I got a 14. It's a charisma save, right?
Okay. So with a 14 and on a charisma save, and an 18 survival. An 18 survival is going to not only help you navigate through, it's going to mean that Marib and JT are going to be able to keep up with you. Because you're able to find the right pathways to get there, maybe a little bit faster and maybe a little bit out of the way. With a 14, you are able to cast a little bit on your way down and prepare it, but it's not going to be as fast as you intended. So maybe decide if Ilavara and Marib and JT run ahead a bit while you just finish up casting your spell in front of the inn, or you can choose to run along with them.
Yeah, I'll take the former. They're like scrambling with it, and they're like, "Yep, I'll catch up."
Yeah, just 5 more minutes. It's fine.
Just get a big old donkey. It's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So while you are casting the spell, one of the people from inside the inn comes out and hands you a letter. Do you open it now?
Hello?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hi, are you Yor? I think this is for you.
Okay, thanks.
You're hard to find.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, bye.
Cool.
The kid runs off.
So much multitasking. Just like different colored lights. Like
just put it in my pocket. Okay. You can open that now if you like. You can try to read it on
comedic
the way.
Multitasking. It's like, oh, doggy. What letter? Fire.
Yeah. Okay, so you have a letter, and you're on your way. So we have that group on our way, and we're going to, barring any other requests, jump to Six and Hannah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Speaking of jumping.
Of jumping.
Can I just, like, run there by, like, jumping over rooftops and stuff? Because I'm a cat and I have a ring of jumping. Yeah.
Extra parkour. Well, I believe where we left off.
Hannah!
Heck, not to get ahead of ourselves, but Hannah was still in the building and the alarm bells were just sounding now. So,
okay.
I mean, you can definitely just, like, book it without telling anyone where you're going or anything, but just need to figure out what's going on.
Okay, I am gonna go find Hannah first.
Okay.
Well, first I'm gonna like look at Zerabel, and she's still in the building, right?
Yes, Zerabel is in the bathhouse.
So she hasn't seen this.
No, but you'll probably be able to hear some of the bells from outside.
Okay. Well, I'm just, like, standing in the doorway, and I'm like, Zerabel, you might want to come out and see this.
Okay. She sips out with you. She has a dagger drawn just in case. So the mercenary company house is built on a hill by the government buildings of town, and is surrounded by a fence of landscaped bushes and a wall of stone. It has little parapets where you could look out at each corner. So if you wanted to run up one of those, you would easily be able to see what's going on across town. Otherwise, you just hear the warning bells, which most people in this city know what that means.
Okay, but I can see the plumes of smoke, right? Or
Yeah, a little bit. It's more of a beginning of a fire than the central part of a fire where there's a large plume of smoke.
Okay. So I am going to hang in the doorway until Zerabel has also entered the doorway, so I don't, like, slam the door in her face, like, want her to be able to catch the door. And then I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna, like, zoom up that parapet and take a gander.
Yeah, so you see a large building in the center of town, just outside the plaza where the statue of Elthon is, and part of it is on fire.
No!
Sorry.
In character. I know!
There are people both running towards it and running away from it.
Looks chaotic. Best stay on the rooftops out of the streets. I'm gonna drop down first and check in with Hannah.
Okay. Hannah?
I can't remember exactly where she is. I can't remember whether she just finished talking to Hyacinth,
or
she was talking to Connie, or I can't
She
exactly
was
remember.
just talking to Hyacinth, but Connie is right there if you want to talk to Connie.
I'm gonna roll a charisma save.
Wait, you said
Yeah.
do I know that it's the library that's on fire?
Yeah, you were
Okay.
able to know exactly what it is.
Okay.
19 charisma save, so I'm just gonna kind of move past Connie. How are you getting on okay?
Oh yeah. I think I finished my writing for today, and Carpathia's been really helpful writing some memories down. I think we're almost up to 100, so that'll be good to have.
I would offer, but mine might not be too helpful.
Well, maybe after this we'll be able to share more memories with each other.
I would like that, yes.
So, how's your morning been so far?
I think I almost died. It was in the basement of the Master Eclectic. It's a shop.
Is it the eccentric eclectic?
Maybe. It was in the basement of his shop, and there was this gate thing, and Six put his hand on a thing, and there was a gate and a portal and a tentacle, and it was. We ran, and I don't know what it was, so I'm kind of glad we're not there anymore.
Yeah, that sounds really scary. I like the store, but some of that, it kind of creeps me out a little bit, you know?
It just goes over my head.
It's hard to understand how you can even control that much power, you know?
Do you guys hear the alarm bell at this point, or is
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
that... Okay, so it's just like Six in the background. Anna!
Oh, I should probably go see what he wants. Yeah, we can talk later to share memories. Bye.
I mean, Six bursts through the door, and he's just like panting. He's like, Anna, the library.
Do you usually get this out of breath if you run?
He does.
I already did. I just climbed up a parapet as well, so cut me some slack. But
Stairs. Six had stairs. Sorry.
Do you need me to carry you?
no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Listen, the library is on fire.
She just looks down at herself and back up to you. I don't see how I can help.
The books, Hannah. And Six just turns around and runs away. That's all he's.
Could you explain what you mean? And I follow after.
The books! All the knowledge lost! He's like, I must do something, and then...
What about the people in there? I mean, are we going to help?
Them too, let's help.
Okay.
I'll meet you there.
Here leads the way?
Six has got it scary up.
So
I just look up like, I don't know the way. Why would I ever go to a library?
Cute librarians. So
Parkour time.
Is it parkour time? I seem to be give me an acrobatics, and then Hannah, do you have a way you want to do you want to do a perception
21!
check? 21 acrobatics.
Parkour!
Yes.
I guess I'm going to attempt to make my way to the library. I probably heard of it.
Okay.
I don't know whether I've actually ever been, but I've heard of it, maybe.
I doubt you've been there. You've probably passed it and not, recognized it or something.
You know what a library is.
What are libraries?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a perception check? Do you want to do a survival? how do you want it? Is the question, can she navigate there with any haste?
I guess so. I guess it's a find my way there roll. So
That's gonna be survival. Yeah. Oh no!
2. Not 1 plus 1, 2.
Oh dear.
Okay. Somehow you end up on the north side of the library. So you start south of it, you're on the wrong side of the river, you miss the entrance to the closest bridge, and you end up on the Thar Bridge. And it takes you a bit longer than everyone else.
Yeah, so I'm arriving after everyone else. Cool.
Yeah. Can I get a perception from Hannah?
Yeah, sure. 19 plus 4, 23.
Okay. So as you are approaching the building from the north, you notice it looks kind of like a bat, but it's way too big to be a bat coming out of the library.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Does it look hostile?
Oh yeah. I mean, it looks very big.
That wasn't the question. The question was, does it look hostile? Is it like actively attacking shit? Is it?
I'm gonna say it eats a bird out of the air. So yes.
Picturing like a frog, like its tongue just like snaps out,
While
grabs the bird.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Please no.
Okay. Second question: are people like running from it? Is there like an active attempt to contain it?
There isn't an attempt to contain it, but people are running from it.
I'm gonna have to. I don't have enough information as to like what's going on, what's here. Like if I see any other sort of like armed presence trying to contain it or like to get its attention or something like that, I'll also join in. But aside from that, I don't know if I have the information to work with to do anything.
So there are badgers running around, but they're trying to organize people to get a bucket line from the river. So
I guess then I will just shout out like, what is that thing? And point at it.
So you're approaching someone to ask?
I will approach one of the closest badgers and just be like, oh, what is that thing? Is it a threat? What can I do to help?
I don't know. Shoot it, I guess. How are you with buckets? Can you do any water stuff?
I point at the sword on my back. That's bigger than me.
It's flying. I don't know. Yeah. I gotta get back to this. I don't know. Get in line if you can't. We need everyone we can get on this.
I'm going to take a look up at the creatures. Look at the library door. Is it blocked?
The library door is blocked, and specifically the front part of the library does not have... The fire is coming from, like, the back or the sides. It's not coming from the facade. Weird enough, there aren't really people around the front of the library. There are people around the sides getting together with buckets, and there are people who are moving other people out of the way. But the front of the facade of the library itself is actually pretty empty. I think maybe there are 1 or 2 people there.
Then I'm going to turn to again sort of just the closest authoritative figure. Is everyone out of there?
We have no way of knowing.
Oh, I'm going in.
Okay.
I'm just going to run up to the door, open it. If it's not locked, I'm going to try to slam it open with my body.
Are you going to the front of the building?
Yes.
Okay. Does an 18 hit?
Yes.
Okay. You are hit by an arrow that I guess it pierces your armor. It is not a magical arrow, so whatever your special thing is, minus
Heavy
whatever.
armor master, minus 3 damage.
Yeah, so you take 6 damage from this arrow that came from somewhere in the front of the building. And maybe Hannah has put together why there aren't people running around the front of the building.
And I've also put together why I'm the perfect person to try and get inside, and
Yes.
I'm going to try and get inside.
Okay,
Woo!
so let's figure out how everyone else gets there and what you do while you're there.
I kind of feel like Hannah getting there kind of takes place after everyone else.
It does. I'm trying to
Yeah.
work it all
Yeah.
in. So, Ilavara, Marib, and JT, and Yor is able to catch up at some point. And you all arrive there around the same time as Six, who is doing some fantastic parkour all the way there. I wonder how you navigate the bridges, but that's a different problem. It's fine. We gotta get you a grappling hook next. So everyone else, you arrive around the front, but you like Hannah, you notice that there aren't really people around the front. I think maybe there's like one or two carts that have been left there as people fled, and maybe a dead body on the ground with an arrow in it. But people are starting to line up to make a line for buckets from the river. There are badgers trying to direct any carts from the plaza marketplace out to somewhere else that is safe to make sure that there's room. And there's a lot of chaos.
Am I here too?
Yes.
Okay, by the way, I think you would have crossed the bridge by, like, walking tightrope over the suspension cords.
Great. Perfect. I need to make a note that that's a suspension bridge now. Now tell me, what are you all doing? How do you approach the situation?
Okay, so the four of us get there.
Yes.
Okay.
And also Six, who is your fifth.
Oh. Hello, Six.
He just dismounts very gracefully off the roof. Hello. Let's save some books.
I was thinking people, but books are also valuable.
Yes, people too.
So I'm just gonna go in and just kind of look back at, like, Yor and just be like, motion, like, after you.
Okay. Where's this big old arrow shooting bat thing? Do we see that?
Don't believe you see the bat, but you do see an arrow. So who's the first to walk
I
forward?
guess that'll be me then.
Okay.
It might have been Six if Six had just run.
I like how no one questions where Hannah is.
She'll get here eventually.
Cool. So an 11 won't hit anyone, I think.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah, but no one even questioned it.
Look.
Like, damn.
So,
Just assume she's lost. It's fine.
Do I have to
I'm
count?
sorry, Six is focused on the books.
Do I have to count for sweetening? Is she targeted?
No, who was the first to walk in to try to walk forward? Was it Six or was it Yor?
Either way.
It can be 6.
Okay, Six, as you walk forward into this kind of empty area by the facade, towards the closed doors, an arrow from somewhere above you shoots down and hits right at your feet. It doesn't hit you, it misses.
6 does like a little dance, like like it just misses his foot, and his foot like lifts up, almost like he's dodging it, and then he jumps over it, and then keeps running.
So are you going towards the front door?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does a 16 hit?
No.
Okay. Yes, so this arrow hits just as you duck under the awning and into the large door to this building. The question is also, do you say anything to JT and Marib, who have followed you here?
Marib, if I die, I love your butt. No, I keep that to myself. I'm just gonna expect that they're gonna come in with us. So
Okay.
just like action, nothing else right now for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you all look at them and ask, hey, any specific plan do you guys suggest? But we're just gonna take this head on.
JT says, well, we need to get, if anyone's in there, we need to get them out, and that includes whoever's shooting.
Yep. Okay.
She takes out a extremely elaborate and silvered crossbow. So she's wielding that. Marib is still just in her armor. It's full armor. It has some spots where it was very obviously dented and broken and scratched and fixed. So this is armor that has seen a lot. JT is in just leathers, doing her best. Okay, is everyone going in?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
As she goes in, Marib puts her hand to her side and summons the great axe that you recognize, because that's her thing.
Eldritch Knight Fighter.
Yeah, so we have Six and Yor going in first, and Hannah going in second. So when you approach the building, it is fairly large. The front, it is, I want to say 2 to 3 to 4 stories high, held up by very tall columns. The door itself is set in with multiple separate door jambs and a large Gothic arch of a door that is over 10 feet tall. The sign for the Elthana Memorial Library has fallen to the ground outside of it, and the fire is not visible from the front. The doors are shut. There are some windows, but most of these windows almost always have some sort of curtain in front of them, and that has remained. So on this block next to this building are a couple of other larger buildings. However, the library has 20, 30 plus feet between itself and other buildings. So when you go inside, you do need to walk up a whole bunch of steps. So the first room on the inside of the building has a fantastic mosaic in the ground that is a city map of Elthanistan. The ceiling is a round dome that goes all the way up to the top of the building and is open at the top to reveal some sunlight, and there are wings on either side. Now, this is an atrium that I know Ilavara has walked through definitely a couple times, so Ilavara would know that in the wings on either side are offices, and where they keep like the library index. Through that atrium is a large reading room. So this reading room is 75 feet wide. This reading room goes all the way from the floor to the ceiling of the building. And on either side of it are the stacks. So this is different levels, 2 or 3 floors of library book stacks. The reading room has a bunch of desks. These desks can be used for cover, and some of them are moved around. So in the far right, as you walk into this big room, you see a fire in the stacks in the rear of the building. And in the middle of the reading room, you see what looks like an impromptu courts, where you have a man standing on a giant table at the front of the reading room, a few people standing around, and someone who looks to be almost on trial, who does absolutely get just like punched while you watch. And you recognize the person standing on the table as Halros. Looks like the previous Master Spellwright. So, what do you all want to do at this point? How do you want to approach this?
Stealthily!
Stealthily?
Who's saying
You're
that?
taking a donkey in the fucking front doors! You can't do this stealthily!
Single-handedly ruining that dream. Oops. We could just look like it's me and Marib, and then Oops, there's 2 more people.
Yeah, I like dodge roll immediately from the door.
Who's the person getting punched?
It is this guy. It looks like a younger dwarf, maybe. Ilavara might recognize them as an employee here. Oh, there is also some music playing. Someone's playing a lyre. I believe it is this large tabaxi on the side playing just a nice little tune.
Isn't this building on fire?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Oh, God.
God, what a mood. This guy's mean business.
All right. Well, we got to save the employees, so...
Here, while everyone's within 30 feet, can I burn my other second spell slot and cast Aid?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, have fun with 5 more hit points, everybody. Let's see.
Are they temporary hit points?
They're hit point maximum and current hit points increased by 5 for 8 hours for 3 creatures within range. So I'll make that 6, Ilavara, and that's a Hannah's not here right now.
Hannah's not here.
Hannah's not here right now. Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
Mike, would it be themselves? No, probably one of the other 2. I guess Marab.
Okay. Let me know how long you'll take. Are you going long enough where... Are you taking enough time where Hannah will be able to catch up with you?
If she spends like a lot of time, if she gets lost enough to spend enough time traveling around and like coming in through the north side, and the rest of the party came in through the north side, that's going to be a while.
We don't know where she is.
Yeah.
No.
And no one even like batted an eyelid.
Here, while yours casting Aid, they look around, they're like, "Oh, Hannah's not here." That would have been their third choice.
And Six is like, "Oh yeah,
were you with her, Six?
She's on her way."
Oh, okay.
You don't know that.
I think. Last I saw her, I told her I was going off towards the library. So.
That's not.
I'm going to drink one of my mutagens.
Ooh. Oh.
So out of it, I'm going to pull a vial that's kind of swirling orange, yellow, and drink it. And it doesn't look pleasant. I make kind of like a face like, ugh, I hate drinking these. And now I have resistance to fire damage, but I am vulnerable to cold. That is one action. And I'm going to do a second action to, again, with the like slightly curved blade on my hip, cut my hand open on it, smear the blood across the blade, and it starts, crackling with that ice magic again.
You catch Marab smiling at you. Neat.
Blushies.
OT3 in this Denny's tonight.
I'm just preparing my buffs, and then I'm going to go fight somebody. That's my plan.
Very Ilavara of you.
Okay, but how long is that taking? And you've just walked a donkey into the fucking room.
Yes,
you cannot do this stealthily. There is a donkey that has walked into the main way, and they are now aware that there is a big donkey there, and you are just sitting there powering up.
To be fair, you can roll a group stealth if you would like. Sweetling does have to roll a stealth roll.
Oh my god, I sucked at that. So I lost 5 hit points from cutting my hand open.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good gash. And I only got 10 to stealth.
That's the same amount of hit points that Yor gave you. Also, I got a 24 for stealth.
I know.
Beautiful.
Does aid, that's just on top. So if I healed myself, I would get the 5 back, or is that 5 gone?
Yeah,
okay.
it stays.
Cool.
I'm assuming we are both rolling with disadvantage. I know Yor gets disadvantage on stealth. I'm assuming the donkey does too.
Yeah.
Here
Donkey.
Disadvantage. It's a 3.
A warhorse has +1 dexterity, so
Okay. So I'll just do...
a 3 isn't great, though.
Nope.
Nope.
That's what you get for having heavy armor.
Yes.
Wow, twinsies. No, did I do that? Yes.
Yes. Yes,
Wow,
you did.
Double 3s.
Oh.
They really are bonded.
Yes. So, 6. No one knows. No one can hear you from where you are. But I think I'm going to say Sweetening does a stomp in just the right way where it resounds throughout this atrium and through there, and it happens right as the musician on the inside is between notes or at the end of a note.
Oh no.
And you hear someone say, "Go check what that is." And you see 2 figures start approaching you. The guy looks like the master spellwright, is standing on the desk, and does shout out one more time, "This is your final chance. Where's the spell tome recovered by Lorekeeper Olympia? Tell me and you may live. If not, I'll have to leave you here."
Oh god.
So, Hannah, we need to figure out when you're getting here, because I don't want you to miss out on all this fun stuff that might be going on. You did miss the buffing round, but I think that's going to be okay.
It makes entire narrative purpose for her not to show up for a while.
I know, but I don't
Like-
want you to not have fun.
It's completely fine. I will go with the narrative.
Mhm.
It's so like, yeah, this.
Mm-hmm.
I bet we're probably gonna get our asses kicked, and then Hannah's gonna come in and save the day. So
But yeah.
I will say, for the purposes of combat, she can come in after 2 rounds.
I was going to ask you to roll a d6 for
Okay.
that purpose, actually. It might be a 2.
I'm going to use some physical dice.
Ooh, give me some of that sweet, sweet Foley.
Ooh.
4. Okay. So we'll do +4 rounds.
Can I do something during the buff round, I guess?
Yes. Yeah. One thing. Unfortunately, your stealth is a little bit negated by double 3s.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately. What would you like to do?
6 is like kicking himself right now because he mostly knows fire spells in terms of combat. But I do have alter self, so I was thinking about being a chaotic boy and altering myself to look like Halros as well to sow some confusion.
Maximum. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Is that concentration?
Yes,
Okay.
but it says it lasts up to an hour.
Oh, really? All fire spells? Oh, really? Okay. Okay. It is time for people to roll initiative. Cool. Here we go.
Also, I'm going to take out my crossbow.
Yeah, I rolled a 10. Very average today.
Let's see. Oh, it's a 5.
Oh. It's exactly half of my initiative, even with
Yeah,
the
oh,
.08.
look at that. Huh.
Aw.
Interesting.
Numbers. They're so cool.
It's like Yor is a portion of me.
Aw.
Wait.
Yeah.
Or I guess you could say they're your other half.
Other half.
Aw.
But that
Very
means
good.
sweetening is a quarter of you. But yeah, I look like Halros now.
Nice. Definitely not confusing.
I don't think my clothes changed, though.
This is a wonderful mess. So good. So we have 6, a bunch of people, Ilavara, your other things.
Does the fire get a turn?
Oh, good point. Yes.
Sorry, everybody.
Fire. Okay.
No.
We're at the top with 6. What would you like to do?
So that person is coming towards us to check out who just came in, right?
Yeah, so right now the battlefield is set up where you still have people in the middle to the rear of the building, and you have 2 people approaching you. One is a tall man with greasy bangs, and another is a shorter man with a nice long ponytail.
So 6 is he's gonna wink at Yor and Ilavara with his Halrose face. And then, well, talking is a free action, right? So could I actually run up to them and go farther?
You can, but don't talk for too long. It is technically supposed to be 6 seconds.
Okay. So do I double if I run?
Dash?
Yeah,
What
you
do I
can
do?
a dash. That would be a
Okay.
dash action.
Okay. It's gonna be like, what are you doing here? Why aren't you back at the trial? Wasting time.
Are you trying
Peons.
what are you trying to do, like some sort of confusion check or what?
I could do deception, I guess. I mean, do I have time to do a check?
Not really,
Okay.
because of the running part.
Yeah. He just says that looking like Halrose.
Okay, definitely confusing. Next up, there are 2 shots coming from somewhere behind you, back near the front of the building. So, does a 16 hit 6?
No. 17 is my armor class.
Okay, so a 24 hits, and you take 10 damage as an arrow pierces your
Jeez.
back shoulder. Your shoulder from the back, I should say.
Okay.
And next up, the man with the ponytail, who is well within your range, walks up to you. Very quickly, he takes out his short sword and attacks. The first one misses as he does like a full run up, almost a charge to try to get at you, and you're able to dodge. But the next one hits for 5 piercing.
Oof. This was a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming, 6.
Yeah.
So the arrows are coming from behind 6?
Behind 6, someone who is able to look into the gallery area, but also look to the front of the building.
So they're... Okay. So the trajectory seems like they're up above us, maybe?
Yes.
Since I'm familiar with this area, is there a way to get up if I go around to the left to get up to wherever the area might be?
Yes, you would be familiar with that pathway.
Okay, so do I go this way?
You would have to go forward and then go through a side door.
Okay.
So next up is Marib and JT. They kind of look at each other, they nod, and Marib actually runs to the side and starts booking it for the fire. JT sets up behind one of the desks with her crossbow and shoots at Halrose Quint. Okay, she does miss, but he notices as a crossbow bolt goes flying past him. Next up is the baddie who had was beating up this poor dwarf and tosses him back to a pile of other people who have been, questioned. And she takes out a large scimitar and starts walking down the aisle. Next, the thug with the bangs, the greasy bangs, also starts making his way down the aisle. Pausing, aligned with 6, so that maybe on the next turn, he can help finish the job. Next is Ilavara.
I'm just gonna whisper to I'm gonna go for the archer upstairs.
Okay.
Take care. And then I'm gonna run. But I am gonna hug this wall as well as I can, so that I can stay out of the archer's vision, hopefully, so they don't know what's coming.
Okay. So you're trying to sneak up on an archer.
Yes.
Can I get a stealth check from Ilavara? I'm going to say it will take you 2 turns to get to where you want to get to.
Perfect. Okay. And I will do a stealth check.
And Anna rolled a 15 on stealth. And you are not perceived.
Then I'm just going to worry about using my full movement to get there. That's it.
Next up is your on-sweetening.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Charge!
oh, yeehaw, yeehaw.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Sweetening's going to use dash. So that brings me to... Oh, actually, I think the movement on its own is 60. So I don't need to do that. Just going to go up to this 50 feet away. In that case, right next to 6.
Okay.
Engage this guy.
Yours gonna smack someone.
Heck yeah.
Okay, do a smack.
Yeah.
Or whatever you would like to do.
Does a 16 hit?
It just hits, yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's 11 slashing, and then I have an extra attack.
Okay.
Oh, that doesn't hit.
No, a 6 does not hit.
Nope. That's a... Okay, well, we got one in there. Since I didn't use anything for sweetening, does the dodge, like, ready a dodge? Is that how that works?
It is a
You
dodge
dodge,
action.
and anything attacking you gets a disadvantage on the attack until you're at the start of your next turn.
Okay, we're gonna have that on.
Okay.
And that's that. Did a stab from the back of the donkey.
Six is just gonna look over at Yor, and he's like half like, because he got like hit with the arrow, so his concentration's been fucked up. So he looks over and he only sort of looks like Halrose is all messed up. He's like, bah, shown up by an actor.
So it is now time for Halrose. The disguise melts away, and in the place is a man with very white-gray skin and no coloring at all. Almost like his skin is made of marble. An unpainted statue dressed in robes. He shouts out some words in a terrible language, and some creatures appear around him and start flying through the air. So this is similar to the bat thing seen before. It's green. It's kind of like a green goblin-looking bat with a human head, a very long tongue, and a disgusting everything about it. At the end of his turn, the sculpture standing there, who summoned these creatures, is going to look at the musician and say, "Yeah, you're on your own." Swirl his cape around him and disappear in a puff of smoke.
Fucking rude. Get back here.
Rude.
Next, all these nasties are going to start coming at you as well. One of them attacks one of the prisoners on the ground, who dies.
No!
And a couple of them start flying around. One is looking for an area to escape that is away from the fire, and another one starts flying towards JT. Next up is the fire, which does expand a bit. So it's starting to move towards the interior, as far as you can tell. Next up is 6.
Now I'm worried about those other prisoners. But I guess we gotta deal with this mess that I've made. I'm gonna use Firebolt. Gonna point at this guy here.
So the guy with the bangs who is trying to come and get you.
Yeah. I aim at the piratey looking fellow.
So I need a ranged spell attack.
Okay. Range spell attack 15
15 hits.
for 11 damage.
Okay,
Nice.
that's where does it smack him? That's a good hit.
Gonna smack him square in the chest.
Yeah.
6 is just gonna he's gonna drop the Halros look for now.
Okay, next we have someone shooting at JT. So JT, who had tried to take cover behind this desk, gets hit with a couple of arrows bolts. Next up, you have the ponytail guy who had run to attack 6 and got hit by Yor. It's going to try to attack Yor. So Yor does a 21 hit.
It sure do.
Okay, does a 17 hit.
Yep.
Okay, so you take a total of 6 damage.
Dodge count for both of us? It's just for sweetening, right?
I didn't roll super well, but that is at disadvantage both times.
6 damage. Okay.
Okay, Marab runs up to the fire and does a gust of wind from her hands to try to blow the fire back so that it doesn't spread. JT dives to the side and takes out one of the flying monsters with a crossbow bolt. It was just about to leave a window, and she managed to get it just in time. The tall woman who was mishandling the prisoners runs forward to try to get at 6. A 24 is going to hit.
Yes, it is.
For 8 slashing.
Oof.
And she tries to push you aside with her shield. Hey, sorcerer, give me an athletics or acrobatics check, please. Give me you rolled a 10 on acrobatics.
Yes.
I rolled a 19.
Yes.
You are shoved out of the way.
Which way do I go?
You are pushed to the side as she tries to make it to Yor. In service of moving 6 aside, Vethbuck had blocked the way of the one with the greasy bangs, who basically complains and says, "Do you have to be in the spotlight?" And runs around 2 through 5 and tries to attack at 6. Oh, and I don't know if I said this before, but he does have a mace. An 8 is probably not going to hit. A 13?
No.
Misses both times. Just frustratingly whacking around with a mace and not getting anywhere with it. Next up is Ilivara.
All right. Continue my movement?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could I get a perception check?
Yes. I perceive 16.
Let's see what happens.
This fuck better not be invisible and running past me.
So, as you come up the stairs stealthing, you see a cloaked figure hiding in one of the windowsills. And they have not seen you.
Excellent.
They have a big bow, and they're scanning the gallery of the library.
Tempted to just push him.
Oh!
But that's just my turn for now, because that was my movement, so.
That's your double movement.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got It's your turn.
You're very upset to have watched 6 get thrown around like that. They have a real intense look in their eyes, and we're going to start with bonus action Thunderous Smite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who are you smiting?
That just puts it on the glaive that I'm going to try and hit the baddie that shoved him. She's still very much a threat to him right now.
Yes, she is. Big, tall lady with a big, fancy-looking shield.
Yeah. Glaive attack number 1. 7's not going to hit.
A 7 doesn't hit.
Second time's charm. Whoa, crit. 25.
Woo!
Oh, jeez.
It's time.
It's
It's time
time.
for the crit chart.
Oh my god.
It's time. Give me a D100, please.
Oh my god. Here we go. There's a lot that happens with this hit, too.
Okay, we're gonna try to
We're gonna do this.
weave it all together into one hit.
Yep.
So,
1d100 is a 19.
okay. A 19 on the crit hit chart for melee damage is non-damage loss, so no extra damage, but one non-magical piece of equipment, weapon, or armor on the target is broken or falls away. What does your do? Is it one non-magical piece? I will give you a clue. The shield is magical.
Okay. What's my other option then? Armor?
The other options are armor, a melee weapon. Those are, I guess there's probably an extra weapon on the side, like a hand axe.
Yeah.
So what would you like to do?
Okay, scimitar.
Okay. And how much damage is that overall?
It says 14 slashing. This strike has this, like, thunder behind it. And it just freaking broke this weapon.
Oh, that's so neat. The thunder of a passing shower.
Very ominous. The attack deals an extra 2d6 thunder damage, and she's got to make a strength saving throw. So,
Wow, so get me that 2d6.
d6 is gonna be an 11.
Okay, I rolled a 3 on my strength saving throw.
Oh, goodbye.
So what does that do?
Ah, wow, what poetry. She's pushed 10 feet away from you and me not prone.
Woo! Even more than
Amazing.
what she did
Okay,
to
and
six.
prone. That is quite a turn.
Yep.
Perfect. That is quite a hit. Not prone. The weapon is somewhere else.
It's a big old thunder crack.
Yeah. Okay. Next up is flying monsters. One of which is going to try to attack your... Let me just double check. Nope, they are both out of reach. One of which is going to fly to try to attack your next. And the other is going to try to attack JT. But they are both out of range, so that's their turn. Next up is the fire's turn. Fire is raging, but it is getting pushed back by Marib, who is standing there with gusts of wind coming from her hands. And we are at round 3. So 6 is at the top. 6, how are you feeling, buddy?
Not great. Still got that arrow poking out of my shoulder. So I'm trying to decide if I should risk an attack of opportunity or not. I'm gonna go with probably not.
Okay.
6 is gonna shoot a firebolt at the bat thing.
Okay. So firebolt, cantrip, give me that range spell. Ooh.
21
That definitely hits.
and 11 fire damage.
Okay, you almost take it down. So it definitely gets hit square in the face with your firebolt. And maybe when it looks to you, it looks a little bit angry.
Oh no.
Okay, anything else on your turn?
Can I move still or no?
You can, but you provoke an attack of opportunity. If you do, yeah.
Actually, no, I'm not going to provoke an attack of opportunity. That could be bad
Okay.
if I get attacked again after that. So, that's the end of my turn.
Okay. Next up is the scout with the longbow. Currently, JT is out of range, so they are going to try to hit Yor. A 20 for Yor.
Yeah.
Okay, you take 4 piercing. And a 16.
If it meets, it beats, yeah.
Okay, so you have one arrow that hits you squarely on one arm, and then the other, as you take that hit and move, just manages to hit you as well. So that's a total of 11 piercing damage.
What was it on? I already did the 4, so that's another 6.
Oh, that's another 7.
7.
Next, you have Ponytail, who is going to try to avenge the friend who is hit with the devastating blow. So that's another hit at Yor. Ooh, and both are going to miss completely. This guy's starting to get a little skittish around the donkey and is not able to really get in there for an attack.
She is a big girl.
Marib and JT. Marib is going to move forward and still wind rushing from her hands go to try to control some of the fire, and it looks like she's making some headway. JT shoots at one of the terrible monster creatures. I believe is able to knock it out in 2 hits, and then dodges in for cover in the stacks. So currently she's not able to be seen by any of you on the field. Next, standing up from prone, scimitar no longer in her hand. I think she's going to get up and going to try to bash Yor. So that's going to be a shove at Yor. Contested athletic versus acrobatic or athletic. So, Yor, what would you like to do?
Ooh, I'm proficient in both, but I'm better at athletics.
Great.
Okay, here we go. Just trying to shove me off and mount you.
Yeah,
Would be the thing that would happen. Okay.
he's coming at you with the fancy shield.
Okay, athletics. Oh, that sucks. Can I?
Oh no! I also rolled a 6.
Oh my god! What?
You know, I'm gonna say she doesn't manage to do it.
Okay, it's very close.
It's very close, but you're very stalwart on that. But she is able to pick up her weapon from the ground and tries to slash at you. An 18, so 7 slashing.
Okay.
Next up is the bug who is coming at 6.
Pirate guy.
Yeah, I missed the first one, but the second one is 2 bludgeoning against you as he's whacking this around this mace. It's almost like he's not quite sure. This isn't like his usual thing. He's not quite sure how to use it as well. Next is Ilavara. Ilavara, what kind of terrible thing are you going to do?
Oh, God. I should have considered it, but I didn't. So if I were to push this person, what a roll would I be using?
Well, that would be a shove, and that would be athletics against athletics / acrobatics.
Okay, that's not going to work. So I am going to just come up behind this person with the longbow and stab them with my rapier.
Okay, go for it.
So attempt to do it as quietly and subtly, just drive it through a lung or something.
Okay.
Let's see if I hit.
Oh, that hits. A 14 hits.
So it's 8 piercing damage from the rapier and 5 cold damage.
Wow, yeah. So the rapier goes in through the back and hits. This person is almost still alive and isn't able to quite turn around to see you because they're just pinned this rapier. That their cloak, which is actually like really nice, now webbing of ice starts to appear around the wound.
On top of that, I am going to now use my magic to start to tightly congeal their blood that I've just spilled. And it becomes very thick and difficult for them to move because the blood that's there has now thickened to a point that they have difficulty moving. So, Blood Curse of Binding, they have to succeed on a strength saving throw or have their speed be reduced to 0. And they can't use reactions until the end of my next turn.
I rolled a 2.
That'll fail.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So, Speed of 0.
You ain't going nowhere, fool.
Nope.
Alright, and that'll wrap my turn up.
Okay. Very effective turn. Let's go to Yor.
Alright, we're stabbing things with the cleave again. Stabbing, slashing.
Okay.
Second one, 16?
Which one are you attacking?
Oh, yes.
Who are you attacking?
Shield, which is probably a bad idea. Shield daddy.
Nope, that actually does hit.
Does hit. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's 7 slashing. I'm also gonna add Divine Smite. That's cool.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, so 2d8.
So the funny thing about the person carrying the shield is that usually people who carry fancy shields are wearing like full armor, like anyone you might meet, but they're just like in some worn leather with this fancy shield, magic shield.
Interesting choice. That's an extra 8 damage.
Okay. They're looking pretty bad off right now.
Cool, let's see if that second attack doesn't hit.
Okay, go for it.
Here we go. Oh, 23.
Oh, well, 23 definitely hits. So.
Yep. For 6, can I find out if that does it before I think about...
A 6 doesn't fully do it, but they're looking like they're on their last leg.
Can I Divine Smite again, or is that a...
Go for it.
Okay, here we go. So I use 1, 2, and 1 more. Okay, that's another 9.
That does it. Describe how you kill this person.
Oh, cool. Well, this long glaive that probably has been reaching past the shield, her very poorly armored self, it just kind of like sneaks in there and just stabs.
They're dead in the ground. Okay, next up are these monsters. The one that is above you, Yor, it gives a terrible shriek. It is going to hit the foe in front of you with the ponytail. It's going to hit Yor, and it's going to hit 6, and it's going to hit the other foe as well. So I need a wisdom saving throw.
Yeah, okay, 6 close enough to get aura protection? Yeah.
I got a 15 wisdom save.
Yeah, 6 is within 10 feet of me, yeah. And so you get a plus my charisma modifier, which is 7.
Okay.
Okay.
And let's get one from Yor.
So it's +5, isn't it? If your charisma's 20?
Oh, modifier, not the spell attack bonus, sorry. Yep, +5.
Okay.
Okay, so I got a 20 total.
And I got 16.
You got a 16 total. Okay, so you all feel for a second like this is the worst sound you've ever heard, and then you're able to shake out of it just in time. This creature also tries to attack Yor. It tries to bite you. It's unable to get past your armor, though, because I rolled 12. The monster that was over by the prisoners has moved on to another victim, and you have another monster who has gone to try to find JT. Next is the fire's turn. So, Marib has been getting closer and closer, trying to push this fire back. At some point, she gets a little too close, and from the fire steps out a creature that is fire. It's large, it spins out from the fire to face Marib and tries to swipe at her. She's able to back out of the way. So, next is round 4, which means Hannah. I believe this is when you show up to save the day. Maybe, depending.
Alright, let's see. Let's roll that initiative.
Okay, 6, what are you up to?
Oh, man. He's going to see the fire creature, be like, damn my dragon ass. Only fire spells. God, what was I thinking? That said, he will direct a firebolt at Ponytail guy.
Okay.
Okay, 17.
17 hits.
13 damage.
Oh, wow. Oh, did that do it? No, this guy hasn't really taken too many hits.
Yeah, just the other one, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, but that is a really hard hit on him. Where does it hit?
His ponytail lights up like a wick.
How dare you? Pride and joy.
Well, okay. It also, like, hits his neck or something, because he's not going to take damage from ponytail damage.
It's damage to his pride.
13 points of pride damage.
Yes. Ilavara, your victim up here, it cannot move. What can they do besides die?
I would prefer they just die. But, so here...
If they have 0 speed, they can still attack, though, is from what I understand.
So they can't move, and they can't use reactions, but as far as they are concerned, they can use pretty much anything else.
Okay, I think they're going to try really hard to attack you, but that is point-blank range with a long bow, so that is at disadvantage. But, you know, you gotta do what you have. So...
Do it, son.
Yeah, 2 10s. Whoops. Not going to do it. Next up is the fire's turn. Who's going to try to get at Marib.
Can I even see that from where I'm at?
Oh yeah. You have a vantage point. Both swipes from this monster do not hit Marib. Marib's able to jump out of the way just in time. Next is Ponytail, who is not happy at all, going to try to jump over his comrade and get 6 specifically.
I burned his ponytail.
Absolutely not happy about that situation. Does a 14 hit?
No.
Okay, and a 5 does not hit. Marib is going to try to hit back. Wow, I rolled a nat 1!
No!
I did fully stat out Marib, and I did get a 9 and a 10. So that's on me. Usually she's real good at this, but she misses with her great axe, trying to clobber it and is unable to get the footing right while she tries to avoid the burning things on the ground.
Guess it's just an okay axe.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Next is Mr. Bangs, who is going to try to slice 6 into ribbons. A 20.
That hits.
Yeah, that's 3 bludgeoning with the mace. And an 11 does not hit, I think.
Yep.
Okay. Next is Hannah.
Paint me a word picture. What does Hannah see as she busts in?
So Hannah rushes in.
Literally with the fire and everything.
Yeah, through the atrium. You see a bunch of desks that are terribly arranged, and you see 6 getting hit from thugs on both sides. You see you're mounted in the middle of the library. You see some of these flying bat things, 1 or 2 that you recognize. You see a big fire in the back right. Marib fighting some sort of fire creature. And I guess you see a musician who's kind of looking both ways and trying to saunter off through to an exit.
Do I see aforementioned prisoners from before?
I'd say yeah. Yeah, they're kind of on the ground blocked, so maybe not. You probably see the dead body of one at the end of the row.
Yeah.
You know, just a telltale legs and blood peeking out from the back.
Okay, I'm gonna make a roll.
Is Hannah smart roll?
And the answer is no.
Fair.
I'm gonna come and look around, take stock of what's going on, and try to move up to 25, 30. And I'm making the assumption that this person's standing up beside a corpse, probably with blood on their weapon, is bad.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'm going to take out my heavy crossbow and pew, pew, pew.
You can see the monster that is attacking him.
Oh.
So there is, there is a monster who was previously attacking a different prisoner and is now attacking the dwarf from before. Does that?
He's also tied up, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm not sure how visible that part is.
Okay.
But he's certainly not carrying weaponry.
Okay, if he's not, then I will just move up to one of the people that's attacking Six.
Okay.
And just greatsword out and probably very heavily panting from sprinting, try and bring it down on him. Them, whoever this is.
Mr. Greasy Bangs.
14 to hit.
A 14 just misses.
14? Okay, well, I will attack again because I have 2 attacks. 24 to hit.
So, 19 doesn't crit for you, right?
19 does crit for me.
Is it time for the crit chart?
Yeah. I think it is.
Give me 100.
So, do you 100?
Give me 100. Okay, yes, do it. Give me that.
Get that sweet, sweet dice foley. 6.
Okay.
And that is, I'm going to re-roll both of those damage dice because of my great weapon master.
Thank you. Could you give me the D100 again? Actually, could you re-roll it?
Oh, yeah, sure. 34.
Okay.
34 and... for critical hits, are we doubling the dice?
I'm taking standard, so... The standard...
So
you roll another one of the die, I believe.
Yeah, so 10... 24 slashing damage.
Oh, shit. So the crit effect would have been a whiff, which is in an attempt to parry, the target uses up their reaction for the round. However, you've absolutely demolished this guy. So describe how Hannah slays him.
It's less of a kind of a practiced reaction, sort of a... Because I'm assuming the space between these desks isn't very, wide.
No, it is not.
So she kind of takes her greatsword, makes some calculations in her head, which is probably kind of weird, because Six probably never saw her thinking too deeply, but, reverses her grip on the sword, places the tip on the ground, and just uses, the momentum from the run to, bring it up and, over in a sort of, a crescent arc, just straight through him.
Six just gets sprayed. He's in the splash zone.
Yep.
Six is like, Hannah! You came!
No thanks to you.
We'll talk about that later. But thanks for saving my ass.
Anything else on your turn, Hannah?
Actually, yes. I'm going to use my action surge.
Go for it.
So, you'll watch, Six will see Hannah do this, kind of look to the person she basically just sliced in half, look over at what she assumes are, people in need. She'll, slap herself on the face a bit to, psych herself up, and she's just going to sprint over there, using her movement and action.
Okay.
Her new action to take dash and move another 30 feet to get up to them and act as, a physical shield.
Okay.
I love Hannah.
So, as she gets up to them, she very much tries to make herself look as big as possible to this creature that's swooping down and attacking. And she goes, "I'm here now," and moves into a defensive stance.
Yeah.
Ilavara.
Mm-hmm.
So what you gonna do up there?
Shank him again.
Okay.
Stab. So that's a 20, non-natural 20.
That does hit, definitely.
All right, so 12 total damage then.
Okay. Yeah. Describe how this person goes down.
Okay. I have this person pretty much pinned against the windowsill. It's like an open window, obviously, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So they've turned to face me, and I pull back. They can't move, and then just another clean, rapier thrust into the chest again, leaving the frost kind of crawling up their chest, and then they stop moving. Now I'm going to kick them out the window, and I would like to jump out of the window.
Okay.
How far up am I?
You're a floor up, so I'm going to say that's 15, 20 feet. They're tall floors.
That's a long drop. Can I use their body to soften my fall?
I believe it's going to be an acrobatics check.
Okay.
Actually, I couldn't do a reaction, could I? I need to plan that sort of thing, right?
If it is a reaction that is a reaction spell, what type of reaction would you like to do?
Well, I have Feather Fall, and it says casting time is one reaction which you take when you or a creature within 60 feet of you falls.
I think it is within 60 feet, as far as I can tell, and you do have a reaction, so if you want to do it, you can.
Then yes, I am going to do that.
Okay, mark the spell, mark the reaction. Ilavara, you land on your feet. Safely.
Oh. Ah, thanks.
No risk of fall damage.
Feather Fall!
Perfect. I guess you still have move if you want.
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to move toward the fire. Since I did take my mutagen, there's no point in wasting it.
Okay, go for it. Count that out, and we will move to your.
All right. I have moved 30, so I'm back kind of near the entrance where we started, and I'll be heading around to join Merib.
Perfect. Your, what you up to?
Oh, 6 is still in trouble right here, so we're gonna take
6
care
is
of...
always in trouble. Yes.
Yours is babysitting, and it's real cute. So, more glaive attacks.
I mean, you also just saw Hannah run up, slice a guy in half. And,
Wait, there's a lot going on right now. That is part of it.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Let's take care of the stuff right here. So, gonna try to hit Ponytail Man. It's a 13 hit.
No.
Okay.
No, it does not.
Second attack. Oh, another crit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't mess with your
Give me a D100.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Let's see what happens. I'm loving this. I'm glad I made this.
Oh, it's a 36 this time.
Okay. Discombobulated. Whatever action the target took on their last turn, they may not take on their next turn. He attacked on his last turn, so he cannot do it on the next turn. Whew, that's gorgeous. And that is a total of 13 damage.
Yeah.
Did you have any extra things to put onto that?
I guess Sweetening's taking the dodge action again. I keep forgetting to mention.
Okay, yeah.
Just writing that.
So, next up is 6.
Okay. If he can't attack, does that include attacks of opportunity?
Is not an action, so.
I see. Okay. Well, since he can't attack, I am going to try to move back then.
No, he can't take the
incur...
attack action. He can take an attack of opportunity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to risk the attack of opportunity because he can't attack me again afterwards. So it can't be.
That will mean he won't be able to take an attack.
I think
I'll risk the damage from the attack of opportunity.
if it means not taking 2. Yeah, no, I get it. That's going to be a 12. As he tries to slash at you while you move back, doesn't hit. Maybe got a little knocked in the noggin.
Okay, and I feel bad killing all these people, to be honest. Especially this guy, because he's a cute twink. But all of them...
You don't theoretically have to. I mean, with the exception of spells you can claim it's a non-lethal attack. That is an option.
Okay. Well... Can I use my crossbow non-lethally?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. 22.
A 22 hits.
Okay. And for some reason, the damage is not...
Yeah,
Need to
so
look up the damage for the crossbow.
a light crossbow is 1d8, light crossbow.
Okay.
Plus any proficiency, so double check if you have proficiency with crossbows.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Then you add proficiency and dexterity.
Oh, okay. So that's 6 plus 3 plus 4 is 13 damage.
Yeah, he's looking really rough right now.
Non-lethal damage.
Yeah. It still does hurt, and he's not dead yet, but that arrow,
I shoot him in the knee.
Oh no! Okay, next up is the fire elemental. It moves into the space with Marib, and Marib starts to catch on fire. It's not great.
No.
And yeah, so Marib starts taking on some hits and damage. It tries to smash into Marib again, and yep, that is a total 17 fire damage onto Marib in one turn, and Marib is occupying the space of the fire elemental. Not great. Next up is the guy who just got the absolute shit kicked out of him, and has an arrow coming out of his knee. And
Six is just gonna say to him also, just like, maybe you should just lie down and pretend to just don't fight anymore. God. Your boss has left you. What's the point? Your friends are dead.
so, he is in a lot of pain because of the arrow in his knee. Sits down with just like a if I surrender, keep me alive because I know secrets. And is just sitting on the ground, not taking an action that is hitting people.
And Six looks at Yor and is like, you hurt the
I
man.
really think yours gonna go against that.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to kill someone who's already surrendered.
You're
But,
a
you know,
bloodthirsty rage.
You don't know.
Six is also just glad he's done something right for once. Because he really fucked up. He's also like covered head to toe in blood, not all of it his own.
Yes. Yeah, so Marib is getting hit. Is partly on fire, looking very, very brave and thick, and trying to slash through this monster with her weapon.
I blew her a kiss.
Oh. Manages to hit with one hit for a bunch of slashing, which dissipates some of the fire, and takes a step back so that she's no longer in the fire. Hannah!
So as I've run up to see this monster and kind of like protect the people on the floor, what am I seeing from this perspective? Because it's very different from 40 feet down the corridor.
You see close up a bat-like demonic creature with a terrible long tongue and face, little tendrils coming out of its head. Its head itself is a solid 16 to 20 inches, so I guess bigger than a regular head, with a big wingspan of these terrible green bat wings. And it's just kind of gnawing on someone. It's absolutely disgusting. It smells terrible. It looks terrible.
I'm going to try and make sure it doesn't keep gnawing on people, and I'm going to try and slice it in half.
Go for it.
That doesn't.
No, it does not.
I'm gonna attack again, because that was a
Sure.
natural 1. Oh my god. 11.
11 actually hits.
Oh, okay. So that'll be because she ran in and, like, put herself in a defensive position.
Yes.
So that'll be once again, she's kind of, again, probably unknown to anyone, making calculations in her head and just decide that another underhand to overhead swing is the best thing. And she will, I'm going to reroll one of those dice because of Great Weapon Master. Great Weapon Fighting, sorry. And so that will be 11 slashing damage.
11. Okay. That doesn't quite kill it, but it is injured. It is almost on death's door.
Just stare at it, and
You've certainly caught its attention.
yeah, I'm going to spit in its face.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stare it down.
Okay, Ilivara.
Yes. Running. I will... Shit, what's it called in 5th edition?
Dash.
Dash?
Yeah. Take a dash action to try to get up.
How do I get into this other section? Are the dots on the map the doors, or are they just open archways?
The dots are tall columns, so it is open archways.
Excellent. Then I will be able to double move and get beside Merib. So, just run up,
Kiss.
run up, and then kind of like get to a slide next to her.
Yes.
Get prepared to fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can do. So, but I do have resistance to fire, so hopefully I can take aggro and help out a little.
Okay. Next is Yor.
Real quick, when Six said that to Yor, when he was like, "Oh, like you heard the man, like don't hurt him." Yor goes, Six, I think it's Hannah you should work on keeping in the loop, bud. Like with zero amount of like judgment, but just like a friendly advice. There was no criticism in that. That was just actually, yes, we definitely should also inform Hannah of what's going on.
Yeah.
And with that, there's still one of those creepy green goblin fuckers like right there.
Yes. Yeah, there is.
I'm gonna swing up at it. See how that goes.
Okay.
It's a 21 for 10 slashing.
That hits and that kills.
Ooh.
Dang.
Just like big arc swipe, just boop, dead. How does second attack work if there's movement? Can it be split up, or is that no good?
I believe so.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move towards the other one because the second priority is these folks over here.
Oh, you're going over towards Hannah?
Yep.
Let her know about this guy.
I'll take my advice. Thanks. Hey, Hannah. Good to see you. We'll touch on that later.
She's looking incredibly focused. She probably won't even notice.
Not trying to distract her, but okay. Second attack on the other one
Okay.
is a 20 for 8.
That hits and kills.
Okay. Cool.
It shrieks a little as it is cleft in twain. Okay. Next up is Six. What are you up to?
Okay, so I'm like kicking myself for not realizing it earlier, but I have elemental affinity. So it says when you cast a spell that deals damage of the type associated with your ancestry, you can add your charisma modifier. At the same time, you can spend 1 sorcery point to gain resistance to that damage type for an hour. So I wish I had done that before, because now there's... Well, I guess I could shoot this one. I think I'll do that, and... Okay. Firebolt, I think, is a...
It is ranged spell.
Yes, and it is 120 feet, so that thing should be...
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I am going to do that. I can move after my action, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna firebolt. I got 24.
Okay, 24 definitely hits.
And that's 4 plus my charisma modifier is going to be 7 damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to spend a sorcery point. Now I have fire resistance for an hour. And so I also have feline agility. So
Yes.
I can move with a burst of speed for a turn. So double my speed.
So where are you going?
Going closer to the fire.
Okay. Next up is the fire's turn. The fire elemental is going to take a step forward and encompass the spaces of Marib and Ilavara. So, you're going to take 4 fire damage. And Ilavara, you are starting to become on fire. Marib is already on fire.
Oh god.
And Marib takes another 10 damage.
So do I take 4? Is that after my half from resistance?
No, I didn't calculate that in.
Okay, so I take 2.
Okay, yes.
Okay, cool. Still not pleasant.
No, not pleasant. It reaches out to you. That is going to be a 12, which I do not believe that hits.
Nope.
It also reaches out to Marib and crit fails, so it misses. Okay, it is this wounded baddie's turn. Surrounded by only dead bodies, he is going to try to crawl out of the building. Just slowly crawling down the aisle, bleeding a bit, trying to get to the front door. Along the way, checking that no one's around, he takes out an item and throws it at the fire.
Oh no.
Marib takes some damage and then does a real hard double hit into the fire and brings it down many hit points. I believe she severs a hand figure and starts to move the fire around. Her great axe is magical and is getting the job done.
Nice.
And she does take damage because she is still in the space with the creature. Hannah.
Oh, wait, where? Do we just not know what JT's up to?
No, you cannot see what JT's up to over here. Somewhere all the way in the stacks back here.
Mhm.
Hannah?
Can you look after the hostages?
Sure. Sure you don't want me to fight too? Yor has natural fire resistance.
Innocent lives are more important.
Yeah.
I'm going to look over at the fire elemental and... Oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Full action dash up to it.
Okay.
Just behind it.
Gotcha. Okay, Ilavara, what you up to?
Mm-hmm. Shanking the fire elemental, I guess. I'm not going to move. I'm going to just attack.
So you do take a d10 of fire because
never mind,
you're
I'll
in its
move.
space at the beginning of your turn. So I rolled a 10. That is going to be 5 damage.
Ow! Okay.
Mhm.
Well, then I'm going to still just attack with my rapier that has frost on it, and I hope that that helps. That's a 19. It's actually 21 since I have nothing in my hands.
That does hit.
So 12 piercing and 5 cold.
Okay.
Your righted weapon counts as magical while it has a right on it.
Yes. Magically delicious.
Anything else from Ilavara?
Okay, then I'm going to stab it again. That's a 23 to hit.
Yeah.
So 6 piercing and 3 cold. 9 total.
Okay.
Unless it's vulnerable to cold.
You would think so, but nope.
Dang. I tried.
Okay, Yor.
Yor is very unnerved this whole time. Or that's a normal reaction, but a lot is getting under their skin right now. But Hannah's right. So they're looking over these guys. How do they look?
Well, you have one person who is dead. Used to be a dragonborn. You have the dwarf who was previously, quote, on trial, quote, who is grievously injured. And you have two people who are extremely scared. A blue male tiefling and a very angry-looking human woman. And they're not doing well. It's obvious that they've been hit before, and they've been, attacked previously, and now they were here kind of awaiting what was going to happen.
Okay. In that case, you're trying to, be friendly while also glancing at the fire that's making them very uncomfortable.
The three of them are also all bound.
Yes. Okay. I only have so much action. I'm gonna heal the very hurt fellow first.
Okay.
15 lay on hands. Does that seem like it helps?
Absolutely helps.
Okay. And if I also can dismount Sweetening.
Okay.
And she'll go fight if that is an option.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Dash, disengage, and dodge.
That's only when mounted. She has things she could do on her own.
Right, because it's a warhorse with stompy hooves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I wrote this. Well, that's an action too. I was gonna say, kiss her face. Please help them, bud.
Okay, kissing your sweet mammoth's face is a free action.
Yay.
Yes. Let's bring up that warhorse stat block.
Oh,
we're gonna need that one.
I'm looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Mwah. Sweetening.
I'm just picturing Sweetening doing a shake trick that you put out your hand.
God. Yeah, she's very well trained.
Oh. Sweetening, give me your hoof. Shake. Nice to meet ya.
She even follow up to that is like a fake out. Like, give me your hoof. It's like, too slow kind of deal. Not saying anything.
I love it. Oh my god.
Comedy duo.
A+.
So where's Sweetening going?
Smack up some fire elemental, I suppose.
Okay, give me an attack roll for that horse.
And that's gonna be with trampling charge.
It is a charge, yeah.
Yeah. What does that do again? Oh, it's 6. We'll worry about that in a minute. So hooves is a melee attack plus 6 hit.
There is a strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
Yeah, if I hit.
I really am interested to see if this works. But, so are you attacking?
Yeah. So that's 1d20 plus 6 to hit, right? It says?
Yes.
Is that how that works? Okay. Cool. Sorry, bud. It's a 7.
7 doesn't hit, and there is no knocked prone because it is fire.
Fair.
So that does not happen. Okay. Next is the larger fire's turn, which has started expanding again. It started expanding in the opposite direction and started to take over the back portion of the library.
No.
Okay, next is 6.
I think upon seeing that, Hannah will kind of look over at 6 and go, "It's fire. Do what you can."
Oh, one more thing. The item that was thrown by the baddie who is crawling away, that is another fire elemental. Appears in the back.
6 to Hannah is just like, what am I supposed to do? All my magic is about thoughts and fire. I can only shoot fire out of my hands.
There are a couple of options.
Well, because either way it's going to take an action, I could just cast Alter Self again and use up another spell slot. I'll just do that. So yeah, I'm gonna cast Alter Self again. And so 6's claws just get bigger, basically. They look like small daggers.
Neat.
You got big paws.
Does that count as a magical weapon?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the other reason why I did that, because I figure you need a magical weapon to damage this elemental or whatever. And that's my turn, unfortunately.
Okay, any movement?
No.
Okay. Fire Elemental is going to continue having Marib and Ilavara on fire. Ilavara, that is 6, cut in half is 3. And Marib is starting to look a little bit scorched, but her armor is holding up. So it attempts to swipe at Ilavara. Ooh, it swipes at you twice. And in total, that is 16 fire damage.
I'm going to use a reaction.
Okay. What would you like to do?
I guess we'll see if this works or not.
Go for it.
I'm going to attempt to curse it with my Blood Curse of the Eyeless. So I will roll a Hemocraft die, which is a d6.
Okay.
I rolled a 6. And then I subtract that from the number that the creature rolled.
As the attack roll or
However,
the damage roll?
The attack roll.
Okay.
But if they are immune to being blind, then they're immune to this.
Somehow it's not immune to being blinded.
Excellent.
Okay.
I will also, I'm going to amplify this since it has multiple attacks. So I take some damage. So how many attacks does it have?
It has 2.
2? Okay, so I have to roll another one. So the first attack subtracts 6 to what it got to hit me. And the second one, subtract 4.
Okay, so that's going to be now a 16 and a 19.
Ah, damn, that didn't help. Oh well.
Worth a shot, though. Worth a try. So that's 16 fire if those both hit.
Okay.
And I guess you would cut that in half.
Okay.
For an 8 total.
Thank you.
Next up is the guy who is shot in the knee and is still just trying to crawl out. And I don't think anyone has spotted him yet, but he is moving pretty slowly. He's now almost at the atrium. Next is Marib and JT. Marib has 2 very fast and very accurate slices with her great axe and manages to cut off 25 points, really making a dent in this fire elemental who seems somehow less there than before. Somehow thinner than before. JT comes out the side and shoots across the whole field with her crossbow at the new monster that just showed up. And one of the crossbows actually hits into it. The other seemed like it went through, but the other stuck in. Next up is going to be Hannah.
I'm going to stop, look around, close my eyes, and just tap into that well of military training and just eyes open, like look around. Everyone with magical abilities focus on Zephyr in some form, whether it's taking down the elementals or putting out Zephyr overall. I will body block one as much as I can. Yor, keep looking after the hostages and moves them away.
Very distant.
Six is like, I may not be able to stop the fire, but I can fight it.
And she's like trying to be as commanding as possible when she says all this, like standing up straight, like really giving it her all, and then she's gonna move over to the other one.
I believe that gives me an attack of opportunity.
Defensive stance, plant into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And just that's a nope, because that's a 10.
Yeah, so probably just like dashes off of her armor. So she just looks at the other one, face to face, defensive stance on the ground, and just up and stares at it wordlessly. And I'm taking the dodge action.
Okay.
So any attack done against me by this fire elemental is at disadvantage.
Got it.
And that's it.
Ilavara, you're starting your turn there?
Yep.
So, that's going to be another 3 damage. Post resistance.
Shank it again. Actually, shank it twice, I guess. Dang.
Yes,
Things are starting to hurt. I rolled a 10 and an 8, so
they're not going to do it.
probably no good.
Yeah, Marib's attacks have loosened the bonds between fire and this, so much so that it's actually maybe a little bit harder, less of a target for Illavarra to hit. Anything else you would like to do?
No, I'm good.
Next up is the fire elemental, who takes a step towards Hannah and tries to swipe at you with disadvantage.
Yep.
So, since taking a step towards you does start a fire on you and fire damage, that's not something that's an attack. So that is 3 damage, fire damage to you for the first time it steps into your space.
Yep.
And then let's see if those attacks hit at all. Okay, 20 hits for 9 fire damage as it takes 1 swipe at you, and an 11 does not hit.
Nope.
Wheels back for a big old punch and misses. Next up is Yor.
Can I do sweetenings first?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we should try that hoof attack again.
Okay.
D20 plus 6. Oh, it's an 8. Nah.
Not gonna do it.
Oh, it's so low. Poor girl. Okay, so for your, what kind of action stuff can I do for untying these folks? Can I get at least one done? Several? Do I make a check? What's gonna?
My brain is saying sleight of hand check to see how many you can do.
I'm bad at that. Okay, let's do it. Oh, it's an 18 though.
Yeah, with an 18, you're able to move between them and deftly untie these knots. So they are unbound.
Yay, trying to be encouraging. There's a fire right there.
Yeah, yes there is. It's pretty close.
Like, oh, dang. Get out of here if you can. Or I'll protect you with both things. We'll work it out.
Okay, next up is 6.
Okay, so what do I roll to make an unarmed strike?
D20 plus proficiency bonus to hit, and 1d6 plus 1 as damage.
Okay, and because it's alter self, though, I get +1 as a bonus to the attack as well, so...
Yes. D20 plus proficiency bonus plus 1.
Okay, 14, attacking the fire elemental.
14 hits.
Okay, so 1d6 plus 1, 5 damage.
Okay.
I slash at the fire with my claws.
It is starting to look quite hurt. And now it's its turn, unless you had something else.
Gonna use feline agility again because I took a turn where I moved to 0 feet. So now I can move double speed. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just gonna stand over that guy and be like, where do you think you're going?
He looks stunned and afraid. Okay, next we have the fire elemental. Once again in the same space as Marib and Illavarra. Does damage. Illavarra, you take 3 damage overall, including your resistance. And Marib is starting to look pretty singed at this point. So that is 2 attacks at Marib, and that is going to do quite a bit. And she's not looking great right now. Looking pretty hurt. Next is the guy who is trying to crawl away, and he does stop and, like put his hands up and try to appease this very quick tabaxi. We've got some Marib action, desperately trying to hit the elemental and not doing a whole lot of damage, but still breaking through. It's looking very hurt at this point. This is 2 exhausted people. And we have Hannah.
Alright, so she's gonna, in this inferno, kind of grit her teeth and step back 5 feet so she's out of its space, but not out of its melee range, so it doesn't get an attack of opportunity.
Correct, yes.
And as she's going,
Also, you do take 1d10 because you did start in that spot.
Yep.
Okay, there's a 3 for you.
Just, look around taking in everything. How hurt, in my opinion, does Marab look? Like, close to going down?
I mean, she certainly looks like she can take a couple more hits, but it should, if she does, it would be very rough.
Again, through gritted teeth, is just going to shout out, get hostages out, innocent people out.
Working on it.
Marab, Ilavara, once that one's done, fall back into a better position, and she's just going to stand her ground and take 2 swipes at the fire elemental.
Go for it.
First 10, so it misses, I assume.
Yes, it does.
Second is a crit.
Nice.
Give me that 100.
Yeah. 93.
93.
Oh my god. What's that do?
93. Force majeure. Roll an additional set of damage dice above and beyond your normal critical.
Okay. I have a lot. I'm choosing to reroll as many as I can due to my great weapon fighting as well. I will be rolling.
Yes, you can.
One of them.
This is going to be silly.
Okay.
Make it silly.
I'm
Do
going
it.
to. I'm going to try. Okay.
How silly are we going? We're already at 20. So, can you do it?
36 slashing damage.
Hannah, describe how you make this fire elemental into mincemeat.
So she kind of looks like, again, after barking these orders, well, not barking the orders, kind of just giving orders as best she can, just grits her teeth again, pulls out a water skin, and, like, opens it with her teeth, pours, like, all the water on her blade, runs at it, into it, and just shoves upwards with the greatsword.
Amazing.
And then just swings back down.
It dissipates, and the fire around it starts to dissipate. Ilavara, you start your round in the location, so you are at, I guess that is a 2, -2 fire damage.
Marab, I think it's time for you to pull back, just for a moment at least. I'm also going to step back, although it doesn't really help me. It's just going to move on me anyway. I'm just going to stab it twice and hope for the best.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, good. Okay. So that's 19...
Shit.
32... 36?
I think you did
damage
it.
total?
Yay.
Oh, finally.
Wow, we had 2 rounds with 36 total. You're all amazing, and your characters are terrifying. So... So describe how Ilavara saves Marab from this fire.
Well, just kind of letting the fire envelop me and trying to find whatever is substantial to thrust the rapier in, kind of like dancing lightly with my feet, like just scuffling around, trying to get better angles, and then finally hit the one spot in the center of its chest where everything like quivers and then just kind of melts down onto the floor, and just like kind of unconsciously puts a hand on Marab, like as in like I was going to push you out of the way if you didn't move, but is like, okay, it's done. So she just has a hand on Marab's like very strong arm.
Casually. I believe that's the end of combat. Yeah.
But the fire.
I believe we're out of turn order.
Is the fire, magically dissipated, or?
It hasn't fully magically dissipated, but it's certainly not growing stronger at an exponential rate.
Okay.
So I think as part of, seeing Six standing over someone, I'm gonna walk over. Greatsword still out. Stand over him. Get up.
He moans and holds his leg that still has an arrow.
Six is gonna seize him by the collar and be like, "You heard the lady," and like help him to like hold him up to his feet. Well, actually, I don't know. He doesn't have a lot of strength, but he's gonna try to hold him up by his collar.
I'm gonna try to haul him up. Yeah, okay. We're gonna say that you're able to do that.
Okay. I hold him to his feet.
I saw what you did there. Was that elemental? You are going to answer for what you've done, but it's not going to be me.
You put innocent people and books in danger. Should be ashamed.
He stumbles through his words and manages to get out. It wasn't my idea.
But you did it anyway.
He starts muttering, please don't, please. It's not very, it's hard to understand.
Six is gonna look at Hannah and sort of be like, look back at the guy and be like, pathetic. And then just drop him. Like, falls back on his knee.
Oh. Okay. With that, we're going to check on your...
they're a little torn between. There's these guys here, and the fire's still kind of going. Do any of them say anything to them?
No. No, they're a bit stunned. What they do say, they're really confused because they just saw someone who looked like Master Spellwright and then someone who didn't look like Master Spellwright.
Yeah, I got that.
So they're trying to get each other up and to at least move away from the fire and just trying to figure out what's going on.
Can Sweetening try to stop us from the fire? Is that too much?
No, it's fine.
Go fight that fire, babe.
I'll just turn to Six and go, make sure this one doesn't go anywhere. I'm going to help the more innocent people get out first, and then... Need a commander. You can do it, Hannah. You can do it. She straightens herself up and just, comes back over to the hostages. She goes, everyone, come on.
Thank you. I'm sorry for leaving you in the lurch back there.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
She just, kneels down to the people who are probably, scrambling to their feet. She goes, come on, out, everyone, out.
And I'm running across and trying to get yours attention and just gonna run up as Hannah's getting there, getting people.
As you leave Marib's side, she does say, yeah, I'm okay. Just, she tries to take a stance and try to cast Gust again. And a couple of false starts, but she's able to do it again and try to contain the fire and the air around the fire. Mm-hmm. So I guess she's working next to Sweetening right now.
Firefighting team.
Right, so Illavarra, what are you up to?
Are you okay?
They just look really emotionally lost, but they're standing. They don't look, they have half health, but
yeah.
They just kind of look at her with this open face.
I'm gonna gently go to hold their hand if they'll allow me to.
Yeah, they will. It kind of snaps into it a little bit. Whisper her name, Illavarra.
You're all right. Come on now. Can we use Sweetening to fight the fire? We can grab water and ride Sweetening back and forth. What do you think?
Yeah. We'll do that.
No, you two rest, please, first. I'm going to go and help Marib. Was her name, right?
We don't have time for resting.
If you don't have time for resting, get the hostages out. I will stay in and help people. I will stay in and help with the fire. You two are very hurt.
Let's go, motherfuckers! Get on Sweetney.
Okay, okay, so let's pull the camera back and kind of do like a montage of what's going on, right?
Yeah, so like essentially what Hannah's going to do is, again, let's be like that sort of commanding military presence and be like, you here, like do this, etc., etc. But while she's doing this, she will be like over at Marab and like trying to like be like, use me, like, you're hurt, use me as a rest to do what you need so you can walk easier, etc. And just being everywhere she can, trying to help everyone she can.
So at this point, Marab does look pretty hurt. She is just working straight through it, which I think is something that Hannah would recognize.
But she's still like, use me as a rest.
Yeah.
Like, and trying to actively get like Marab to lean on her to like take the weight off of her feet.
Her great axe is discarded at this point while she's casting spells.
Yep.
JT has some very noticeable acid burns on her clothes, but overall is somehow happy with the outcome. She has offered to look after your captive for the time being.
6 acquiesces, but not before doing like he turns away and then turns back around and turns his face into like a scary version of the boss's face, like the marble guy. He's like at the captive on the ground just to spook him.
JT gasps at that. That actually catches her completely off guard. Because,
and then he's just like coolly walks off back to help with the fire.
Okay.
As if nothing happened.
So I believe at this point you're able to get the 3 surviving hostages out.
Oh, wait. Just to be clear, the point was to scare the captive, not JT.
I know, but still.
Okay.
You still scared JT?
Yeah.
You're able to contain the fire, especially with the help of the bucket brigade outside, which was able to finally get through now that there wasn't a sniper hitting at them from the front. And it's a sore afternoon, and there are still a lot of questions, maybe more questions than answers at this point. But I think that's where we're going to leave off for today. City in Snow is part of Novi Studios and takes place in the setting of Lanamora ages before the events of the Legends of Lanamora podcast. To find more City in Snow content, share your thoughts or predictions, or keep up with the silliness, check out the Twitter account City in Snow. Thank you again to my wonderful players. How can people find you all?
I'm Miranda, and you can find me at BroTitoFar on Twitter and other places, like itch.io.
I'm Anna, and you can find me at Unruly Cryptid on Twitter or my website, annahammond.com.
I'm Izzy, and you can find me at Squishy Night on Twitter or Linktree.
I'm Lane, and you can find me at Line the Order on Twitter, personally lowering the value with every tweet. You could watch that stock drop in real time.
You can find me at Lizzie_BR on Twitter. To check out more shows and streams from Novi Studios, visit novistudio.io. That's Novi Studio.io. That's all from us. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.